Let's come to seated. So cross legs, settling in, a little bit of a stretch if you need it, just to wriggle into place. Just focusing on the breath, so that your breath start to settle and ground you. Trying to breathe through your nose if you can. Okay, let's start moving already. Get our bodies moving. So we'll sweep arms out wide and all the way up. Stretch up really tall. And then float your arms wide again and all the way down. Fingertips touch the ground. And with your next breath in, let's rise again to the top. And with the out breath, open and sweep down. Let's do this 2 more times, just in your own time and time with your own breath. And once more. Okay, we'll keep hands either side of you and we'll come into a side stretch. So breathing in as we lift up and over. Exhale as we curve. Coming wide and float fingertips down. Let's do the other side. So breathing in as we lift. Stretch across. Exhale as we kind of contract through the side body. And we'll do it one more time to each side. So breathing to rise. And breathing out. Open. And down, lift with the in-breath, and over. And floating back down again. Now this time bring the arms in, we're going to open wide, turn to the side, and just float hands down, one over the leg and one just behind. Open wide, turn to the other side and float arms down. Coming in and open and release. Once more and turn. Coming to the front again. So either my heating is kicking in or those breaths have warmed me up already. Come over onto hands and knees. So planting into hands, knees under hips. And we'll scoop in through the belly, rounding out to our cat pose. And through to cow. Moving in time with your breath. Just keep it going. You could close your eyes if you want to. All right, and then settling into a neutral position. We'll just take a look down one side and towards one foot. Let your hips sway to the side and come around to the other side. Do the first side again, so breathing in and exhale as we contract through the side body. Breathing in and breathe out as you contract. Once more on each side. And again. Okay, reset. Now tucking toes under. We'll lift hips all the way up to our down dog. So pushing hips back. Power down into your hands. You have a little bend in the knees, or maybe you start to bring the heels a little bit lower. Just make sure that your torso stays nice and long, so we're not hunching and rounding through the spine. So keep pressing the chest through and feel the shoulders engage. Feel them strengthen. Coming forward to our plank, shoulders over wrists. Bring hips down to shoulder height, so they're not up in the air. And then pulling back, floating forward, and pulling back. One more time, coming forward, and bring your knees to the ground. Keep your weight forward, so you're right over the hands, and very slowly bring your hips all the way down to the ground. Now roll your shoulders up and back, draw them away from your ears. Now tilting the tailbone down to try and keep the lower back long, so we're not completely making that banana shape with the lower back. So we're lifting the chest, keep the legs super strong, and then lower back down. Rise again. So think about lengthening your chest forward and release down. We'll do this 2 more times, and this time see if you can be even lighter on your hands. So they're just there for balance. And once more. And release. Push down into your hands, go up onto your knees, tuck your toes under, and push hips back again. So bring the hips right back, so we've got weight in the legs. And then bend your knees deeply, press your belly towards your thighs. And then lengthen the legs again, moving tailbone high and heels towards the ground. Bend knees, so a deep crouch position. And then lengthen up the backs of the legs. Think about tilting the hips up. We'll do this 2 more times. Try not to drop your head, so make sure your neck is long. Lengthening up through the legs. And then once more. Press heels down, hips high. All right, walk your feet all the way up to your hands into a forward fold. So relaxing your body down, you might want to bring in some movement, maybe holding onto your elbows. Okay, coming halfway up, hands to shins. So into our flat back position. And then send your hips into a chair. All right, sweeping arms up, coming all the way up, stretch fingertips high. And release down to your fold. Coming halfway up. Sit back and down, sweeping arms high. Drop in a little bit heavier into the heels. Then push down as we rise, lift and stretch. And fold. Halfway lift. Keep your hands light. Try and use the muscles of the back body. Sitting back. Let's see if we can drop even deeper now. Rising up. And fold. Now slowly rise all the way up to standing. So we'll curl up this time, curling through the spine. Slowly let everything stack one over the other, from your heels to your knees to your hips, to your rib cage, to the shoulders, floating arms high. Bring hands to center and slide down your center line. Just pausing here for a moment to readjust. So settling into your feet, dropping into heels, pressing into the balls of the feet, and settling kind of in between, nice and centered. All right, sweep arms down and float them all the way up. We're coming into a side stretch. So you could run one arm down your leg, or if you need a bit more support, you could bring your hand to your hip. You could also separate your feet a bit more, so you've got a wider base for balance. And then sweep the top arm over. So make sure you're not swaying through the lower back. We want to be tilting tailbone down, belly pulling in, and it's a lateral movement to the side. Sweeping arms up, let's come to the other side. So hand to hip or slide it down your leg and reach across. With your in-breath, come up center. With the out-breath, come to the other side. And with your in-breath, rise. With the out-breath, come across. To the top again. This time, soften the knees a little so we can maintain our strong, stable position. And then just turn the upper body. So we're reaching one arm forward and one arm back, but we're still trying to keep the hip points facing forward. Rise on up, straighten legs. Now soften the knees and reach the other arm forward and one arm back. Rise on up. To the first side again. Rise. And open. Lifting up, and this time we'll bring arms behind your back, interlace fingers, push knuckles down, roll your shoulders back and down, so shoulder blades move towards each other. Again, make sure we're not popping the ribs forward, and we want to be lengthening through the lower back. So we've got that little bit of a pelvic tilt, and then push arms down. Lift the chest proud, tip your head back to wherever it feels good. So make sure we're not collapsing through the front of the body. Really try and drive the tailbone down. So that might mean softening the knees a little. One more breath. And then bend your knees, tipping forward. Lay belly over thighs and push your knuckles up towards the ceiling. Let the head relax. See if you can keep moving your arms right on over as far as you can. If there is any pain in the shoulders, just let the arms hang, or you could hold on to your forearms. So we'll just stay for a few extra breaths here. Keep tipping your tailbone high as we start to find a bit more length in the legs. Then slowly release arms and let them hang. Just let them loosen up. Shake out the head if you need. Loosen up through shoulders. All right, step your left foot back and bring your heel to the ground. Actually, I'm going to take my socks off because it gets a little bit slippery otherwise. So left leg back, heel spins to the ground. We keep this back leg really strong, so we're lifting through the kneecap and engaging the quad. Reach arms up. So here you might be getting a stretch up through the front of the hip. Keep the back leg really powerful. And also make sure that you're not swaying through the back, so contain these front ribs, arms open wide, and you can either clasp behind, or if that's just too intense on the shoulders, then you can hold on to your forearms. And then lengthening forward, out over the front thigh. Hold for a breath. Keep the back leg really strong. And then release arms, fingertips to the floor, lift the back heel and step in. Come to the other side. So right leg shoots back. Spin the heel down. Sweep palms high. Keep driving down into the back heel. If the heel is floating off, then shorten your stance. Open wide and clasp behind. Push knuckles down or hold your forearms. Lengthen forward. Hold and breathe. Release arms slowly and step into your forward fold. Hanging out. You can loosen up arms or hold on to your elbows. Alright, and then step your left foot back again. Spin your heel down, sweeping arms high. And this time we're going to rotate into a warrior two. So we're facing side on and send your arms out wide. Make sure that this front knee isn't creeping inwards. So we want to be keeping it tracked over the heel. Still keeping this back leg really powerful. Try and bring shoulders over hips if you can. And of course, check in with our posture that we're closing the ribs, lengthening the tailbone down. And just let the arms soften a little. So relax the center of your chest. Let's float the back arm down and the front arm high. Curve across if it feels good. And sweeping forward, forearm lightly to the thigh, other arm comes over. Rise again. Coming all the way. Keep the back leg super strong so we're not collapsing the knee. And then forward again. You can either bring forearm to thigh or you could reach your fingers towards that back leg. Okay, just reset in your warrior two. And then lift the back heel, arms come overhead. Bend the back knee, rock back into it, and then push off into your forward fold. I'm just going to spin around so that I'm still facing you guys as we do the other side. So this time it'll be the right leg back, spin the heel down, back leg really strong as we rise. Dropping in, and then open to your warrior two. Checking in with our posture. Make sure you're nicely aligned from hips to ribs to shoulders and out to the crown of the head. Just let shoulders drop a little. Power down into both feet. Notice if you're kind of leaning one way more than the other and actually try to center your body. Back hand floats down, front arm lifts up and over. Coming forward, lightly on the thigh, other arm overhead. Rising up again. Lift with breath. Exhale to come across. And forward. Breathing in and exhale to reach. You can always release that bottom arm and send it towards the back leg. Reset through your warrior two. Just pause for a moment. And then we'll turn back into our lunge, so lifting that back heel, come high up onto the back toes, sweeping arms up, and we'll push off to step in, so bending the back knee, rock your weight back a little, and then push off, coming into your fold. You might hold on to elbows. You might just let the arms hang loose. Big, easy breaths. All right, step one leg back and spin around so you're in a wide leg forward fold. So feet are parallel. Think about the outer edges of the feet being parallel to each other. You can have a slight bend in the knees to start with, and we'll start to tip the hips high and lengthen your body forward. Just like in all of our other poses, we want to make sure that we're not collapsing the ribs open. We want to be drawing in slightly through the belly, but not so much that we end up rounding through the spine. So focus on that alignment from pelvis to ribs to shoulders to the crown of the head. And of course, we'll make sure we're not dropping the head or jutting the chin forward, keeping the back of the neck nice and long. All right, drive down into the outer edges of your feet and start to tip the hips even higher as we start to create a bit more length through the backs of the legs. And then start to inch your hands a little bit closer in. Still tipping hips high and pressing your chest through towards the legs. If your legs are a bit shaky, that's fine too. Just breathe into the pose. So you can support your body with your hands as much as you need. Okay, now turn one heel in and walk hands over towards that leg. So we're just leaning in. See if you can straighten the leg a little bit more again. And then we'll come back through center, so feet parallel. Come towards the other leg, just spin the heel in a little. Lean in towards it. And then start to straighten that front leg a bit more, sending hips high. Coming through center, one more time on each side. So move towards the first leg again. And then lift the hips. Press your chest towards your leg. Come through center and over to the other side. And lengthening hips up. Pass back through center and scoop one leg under. Come and take a seat. Soles of the feet together. Hopefully you're feeling a lot warmer now. Bring your fingertips behind and rotate the fingers open a little. So we're pulling the shoulder blades towards each other. Lift the center of your chest. Press down into hands. Press your knees open. And you could either stay here or you could float your hips off. Try not to collapse around the shoulders. So really try and push the chest as high as you can and create space between your shoulders and your ears. Big full breaths. And lower down. Bring hands in front so you can either have them to your shins, ankles, toes, so wherever you feel like you need that support. Bring your ribs forward of your hips, so we're hinging at the pelvis, and lean in. If you want to bring in a bit of pressure, you could create some resistance between your forearms and your thighs, and then relax a little more into it as we press the knees down. So it's up to you whether you want to make this an active pose or just slightly more relaxed. Staying for a couple more breaths. And then coming up, hook one knee down to the floor with the foot behind. So you can have a hand behind for a bit of support, but see if you can try and make this pose really stable by bringing your weight a bit further forward so you can actually start to lighten the hands a bit more. So we want to be driving down into that back knee and gently rotating over this back hip, facing towards your front knee. Walk your hands just ahead of you. Notice if you've got all the weight in your hands, and let's see if we can transfer some of that weight and stability back into our hips so the hands are lighter. Holding for a few breaths. And see if we can lighten the hands even more. Maybe you can float them just off the ground. Still breathing, of course. And we'll come back through center and over to the other side. So hook the knee down, foot back. Support yourself as much as you need to, but then see whether you can transfer the weight into the hips again. So instead of falling backwards here, we want to be rotating the hips, turning to face the knee, and see how upright you can get your body. So a lot of power in that back leg. Float fingertips ahead of you and breathe easy. So there might be quite a lot of tension in the leg muscles here, and maybe around the hips as well, just to maintain your pose. Let's see if we can lighten the hands. Maybe they'll even float off the ground. Breathe into it. And release out slowly. Feet come together, knees open, hands behind. Lift and lengthen. And float forward. Just for a couple of breaths here. Okay, and then bring knees together, come and lie all the way down onto your back. Feet flat to the floor, knees at around hip width apart, arms down your sides and lift hips off. Now if you can, clasp your hands behind your back, straighten your arms as much as you can, and then lift right up onto the backs of the arms. If that brings too much intensity to your pose, or if there's any discomfort around the shoulders, just release the arms and bring them to the floor. So we're going to stay here, holding it for a few breaths. Now see whether you can contain these ribs again. The tendency might be to allow them to flare open, but today we're going to really focus on drawing the rib cage inwards, and got a bit of tension in the belly just to contain our pose here, squeezing the glutes to get that hip lift, pressing down into the soles of the feet, relax around your neck and keep driving down into your arms. So there's just the right balance of effort and tension, as well as space and buoyancy and lightness through the body. So notice the space that you can breathe easily. And notice where you're holding strong. If you can, stay for 2 more long breaths. And then with our last out breath, we'll very slowly roll back down again. Just take your time, coming off the arms. Let your spine press down into the ground slowly. all the way down. And then let everything relax again. So relaxing the glutes. Arms just open at your sides. Knees fall over to one side. Up and over to the other side. Rocking back and forth. All right, reset and bring one leg high. So you can hold behind your thigh or up around your calf if you like. You can have a bit of a bend in the knee, but try and push your heel high and anchor the back of the hips down. So gently drawing the leg a little bit closer towards you without letting your hips lift off the ground. Holding the leg in the opposite hand, we'll let the legs come all the way over. Still cradling the leg, or you might have a hand over the top, whatever is more comfortable. Other arm just rests at your side. Maybe turn and look away from the leg if that feels good. And just let everything relax down. If it feels uncomfortable, you could always bend your knees and have them together. Okay, now bending that top knee. Let's come and reset our pose. Send the left leg up, or whatever you didn't do last time. Hold behind your thigh or your calf. Gently guiding the leg towards you, pushing the heel up. Keep pressing the back of the hips into the floor. And then holding with the opposite hand, let's move all the way over into a lying twist. Arm at your side, shoulders drop. Maybe look away or look straight up, whatever you like. And modify however you need if it doesn't feel that great. Okay, so knees bent or holding a hand over the top. Let's come back through center. Bring soles of the feet together and sweep your arms overhead, holding onto your elbows or your forearms. Let your shoulders settle into a comfortable position. So a bit of a wriggle until you feel good. So allowing the shoulders to fall open. You might feel quite tight here to start with, so just let gravity take over. Staying for a few long breaths. Think about softening around your chest and shoulders with each out breath. Relaxing your face muscles and around your neck. Let the rib cage relax, softening your belly, creating space around the hips. Easing through inner thighs. Just relaxing any tension that you're holding, might be even in the feet or your fingertips. You can stay in this pose for a while longer if you want to. We've got a couple more minutes here. So stay for as long as it feels good, or maybe you just want to move your arms at your sides, or if you've got any discomfort around the lower back or pelvis, then you could bring your knees up and have them resting together. Let your breath move freely in your body, unrestricted. Notice where your mind wanders today. Keep returning to this space, this time you've allowed yourself in your day, to your body, to your breath, to anything you observe about yourself right now, maybe thoughts or emotions. Where are you at today? Always free of judgment. Practicing acceptance. So we'll ease out of the pose wherever you are, really slowly now. Take your time rolling over onto one side and then all the way up to centered. Loop shoulders a couple of times and then let them fall away. With your next breath, arms sweep wide and all the way to the top. Hands touch, come down your center to your heart space. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.